pink, and some sun. Can you tell the spring is coming to Normandy? So hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my very small place on the internet where I talk about my knitting life, my knitting adventures. My name is Isabelle, and as I just said, I'm in Normandy, in a sunny and colder Normandy because we have big winds. These are the equinox tides that always bring some kind of wind or weather change. For now, we have sun. So we are going to be taking any piece of sun that we can. Today it's going to be a video about my regular knitting adventures, what I'm working on and what I have finished. And I would like also to turn this little video into a Gilliatt or Gilliatt by the Rerum Natura Appreciation video. So if that is of any interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, so first things first, what am I wearing? I am wearing my, what I call the Huldra vest. Huldra is a vest recipe by Miss Evil Knit. She has all of her recipes for free on her blog, and I just took inspiration from her and I knit it with the pink Nutiden, I think it's Vasen from several years ago, and that Caroline sent to me from Germany. So the Huldra vest, you start with an I-cord, you knit the back, you knit the front, you join, and you knit the body. So it's a top-down vest and very easy. So what I did is a little v-neck, not a deep v-neck, a little v-neck with an I-cord on the edge. I think I did the I-cord for this part afterwards. I'm not sure. I have to check. I don't recall what I did. And I did the edgings as I was knitting, and what I was doing is, as you knit back and forth, I think I was slipping all my knits with the yarn in front and on either side. So that means once I was slipping the purl stitch on the front and once I was slipping the knit stitch on the front. So it makes that kind of edging that is extremely easy to make as you go. I do appreciate not to have to pick up a lot of stitches in the end, and the arms opening were just done that way. It's a kind of a deeper arm opening, and I wanted that because I have some shirts with larger sleeves and I want them to be fitting in there. I did short rows on the shoulders, you may not see it, so that I did in front and in the back to have a bit more fabric on the shoulder here, and that it slants a bit on the shoulder, in the front, in the back, to accommodate for, I guess, my body shape. And that is all. I have a very little bit of Vasen left. I did use 0.79 skeins, to 80% of a skein to make the little vest. And it's the perfect companion for this weather that we are having right now, where we have sun, so it's a bit warmer, but it's still quite cool. It's 14 degrees Celsius today, and the sun is out and has been out for the whole day. We are later in the evening, so I will write in Fahrenheit what the correspondence is, the equivalent is. But it's sunny and it's still a bit cold, and it's colder in the mornings and it's colder in the afternoons. So a vest is perfect because you can have your coat and a shawl and being all bundled up in the morning and in the evening, and during the day you can remove your coat and whatever and be just fine. I'm wearing it with a linen shirt that one of you brought me. You are too generous. You are too generous and you are spoiling me. In this very, I'm not sure that the colorway is showing up as it should be in camera. It's a very pale lavender. And I do think these two go very well together. So I was wearing my Sotabosc shawl. I don't have it with me right now. It's with my coat. My Sotabosc shawl that I knit in 2021, and Sotabosc by Elena Solier-Gensa. It's in the 52 weeks of shawls, and that I knit with Rerum Natura Gilliatt quartz. I love that shawl. I love this combination, with a bit of pink lipstick and spring is here, my friends. Spring is here, and I do hope that it will stick around because Normandy is known for having spring, summer, and then back to winter. Okay, first one very quick finished object because I did knit it in 4 days, and I would say maybe just 3 days. I need to update my Ravelry page. I have a page for it. I need to take pictures. I haven't done it because it took me a long time to block it out because of work schedules and things. Okay. And I haven't taken pictures. I started the little sherbet bandana that I have knit already on several occasions, at least twice for myself and maybe for other people. I don't even recall. Because I really wanted to finish whole of the blue Gilliatt, the Tempête colorway that my son had got me for Christmas and that I knit the Dazzler with. And this is also why I want to talk about Gilliatt maybe at the end of the video, because I've knit so much and so many pieces with these 5 balls, I could just not find the end of it. So I decided I'm going to be casting on the bandana because it's an easy piece to wear. I don't have a blue one, and I had been already thinking about making a blue type of bandana, shawl, scarf, something. So I decided to make the bandana, go over halfway through the bandana, past the tip, and then start the decreases, and then use every little bit of the Tempête, Gilliatt in Tempête that I had. The sherbet bandana, I'm using it just for inspiration. I don't really care about the gauge and everything. I just manage my own thing. I use it for the increases rhythm and the way they increase because I just like it. And I'm not sure I recall I've said it's by Lamb and Kid. So the original pattern is made for Big Birdie that you knit with 5mm needles and the 12 stitch gauge, which I was far away because I've knit it with 5mm needles. I haven't checked my gauge, but I'm more into the 17, 18 or something. So here is the bandana. Sorry, I'm starting over because I've already had some sound recording problems, and I usually monitor my sound and it was not showing, so I was thinking I'm not recording the sound, so I just stopped and checked. So the footage is okay, so it's okay. So what I was saying is that you first start to cast on 3 stitches, if I recall. It's a free pattern, so you just can download it and do it. Let's say 3 stitches, I'm not even sure, I guess so. And then you start with a certain rhythm of increases, and after some point, you increase a bit more rapidly. So I think it's every 4 rows at the beginning. Not even sure. Please check and don't take my word for it. And then after a little while, just every round. So as I said, I had weigh out what I had. So I went past the midpoint for the bandana, and I start with the blue, and I started my decreases, and I just went to the very last bit of tempête, and then I finished with the gray bouleau, which is birch in English. So this bandana, in a way, I'm quite happy I did pass the middle point, because if I want to tie it up, I really needed to do that. So I did pull a bit on it when I blocked it. So I did what you can say aggressively block it or something. But anyway, it's a very easy piece to work with, to wear. If I don't want the gray to be showing too much, I just tie it on the underlayer, underneath the little point. And you have a little bandana that is just a perfect size, really, really warm, as Gilliatt is, and very, very easy to wear. I already wear a lot. The two other ones I have that I've made with, the first one was to gauge my cashmere yarn that I still have to go to and knit. And the second one was with, or maybe it was the first one, I don't recall, with yarn from Frédéric from Atelier Paulin. And this yarn, she just gave it to me. It was a very small skein, 50 grams or something like that, fingering weight too, because there was some kind of mill problem, and it was over twisted, and the yarn would, when you would knit stock in it, it would slant, and she gave it to me for me to try to see if it was doing that with me too. And you can use that, or she has been selling the yarn, but only to people who wanted to make some kind of weaving project or crocheting, because it was not slanting with crochet, or with cables that would, diminish the slanting issue. But anyway, this is my little sherbet bandana. I'm very happy that I have finished the whole lot, the whole 5 balls that I had in Gilliatt in Tempête. Okay, work in progress. Now, works in progress, I have 2 that I'm going to be talking about, because, I'm mostly a monogamous knitter, and I usually say one easy and one more complicated project really is my jam. And I think it's why I did zoom through the sherbet bandana, because my 2 current work in progress require a bit more of my attention. The first one I want to be talking about is Sauvabelin. Sauvabelin, the pattern and the yarn was a present by one of you, Sauvabelin by Jessica Gore, and I knitted with rare Swiss wool, which is the pattern it was designed for. I separated from the sleeves, and I'm, I would say cruising along, and there is a little detail on the middle of the separation for the sleeve. So you see I've knit maybe a bit less than 10 centimeters or 10 centimeters. I have no idea. This is my second ball. So my plan is to knit the whole ball and then knit the neck opening. She recommends to pick up the stitches and do some kind of ribbing. I don't recall if it's 1 by 1, 2 by 2, or 2 by 1 or something. So I will see if it is not too wide of an opening, because I don't like when openings are too wide for me. So I may knit a little bit more and maybe change the needle size as I'm knitting the neck, so that it cinches in a bit. 2 things about that sweater. First, as you can see, I made a mistake here that I could kind of hide here and here in the small cables. In the smaller cables, I missed a row. I think I missed a row. And then you see that the first little heart or cable or something is not complete, and it should be. So some of you have suggested that I do some duplicate stitch. I may afterwards, I may, or I may just not, because I think it's almost invisible. And when I showed it to the one of you who offered me the pattern and the yarn, you could not see it at first. And you said, please circle where you did a mistake for me because I don't see it. So I think it was a good indication that it is not extremely obvious, and I think I just can leave it that way. If I'm too bothered with the fact that this first one is not complete, I may do some duplicate stitch. But honestly, for now, I'm just thinking I'm gonna leave it that way. The second thing, and I really am mad at myself, but I'm not going to read back again. When you look on the pattern on the project, and when I try to look very closely on Jessica Gore's samples, I don't see that. I can see it on some of the projects. There is no indication. You have to continue this stitch motif up to the middle of the sweater. On some projects from other people, you can see it's the way I've done it without continuing, and some of the projects it's been continued up to the middle of the front, I would say, as you have a little stitch motif at the middle, at the separation between the front and the back. And as I was casting on the stitches and starting up, I was thinking, do I want to make the pattern up to the middle of the front or not? And I read and read and read it again, and maybe I did not read close enough, but I did not see any indication. So you see for now, and I'm not going to be ripping out, my front, it's all reverse, so I need to be careful. My front pattern here is in the continuity of what it was when I was doing the increases for the raglan. And the rest is in plain stockinette, of course on both sides, of course. And when I was casting on the stitches, I was thinking, what do I do? Do I continue up to the middle of the body? And at that moment, I should have looked at the projects on Ravelry, which I haven't done. I should have, but I did not do it. So I did read up and down the pattern. I did not see any real indication of doing this or not. So I just went with what it was said as, do this kind of stitch motif on the side without any indication from the cast on or from the beginning of round, which is on the other side, I guess, or on this side. Yeah, it's on this side. So the beginning of round is the middle of the right arm opening. When I think of it right now, I would have preferred I do the motif up to the middle of the sweater. When I watch people wearing it, I mean, when you wear it, this is going to be under my arms anyway, unless I raise my arms, which I do sometimes. So I don't think it's a mistake. I don't think it's going to be shocking that way. I just think I would have preferred to make the decision to watch and have a look at projects that other people had made and decide to continue the motif up to the middle of the sweater. Anyway, that's my only thing. For now, I did try it on. It's fitting me perfectly. So this is the second ball. I have 5. So this is why I want to see how much I can make with one ball. And I want to make the neck opening, and then I think I will go for half a ball on a sleeve and see how far it brings me, because if I finish this ball, I take a little bit of one more, the one additional one to do the neck opening. And if I use half a ball on a sleeve, so that will be 3 balls. And then I will have a clearer idea about how far I can go on the sleeves once I continue and once I'm again knitting on the body. Because I'm not sure I will have enough to have long sleeves, and I want to see how the pattern looks with shorter sleeves. Or maybe I will knit the whole body and I will go as far as I can on the sleeves. I'll see that. The yarn is beautiful if you have a look once without on the back, without the stitch motif. The yarn is a bit heathered. I love that. And Gilliatt is a bit, or most of their Rerum Natura's merino wool, most of them are like that because they mix dark and light fleeces. A little bit, not much, but there is still a bit of heather, and this is what happens here. It's a mix of all of the fleeces, and it's not a uniform color, and I really do love that. It's gonna be a warmer sweater. And you know what I had said is I'm gonna be knitting winter sweaters and stuff during the summertime because I have a lot of wool that can go for that, and I want to use my stash and everything. And just before I started to record, after I came back home for work, and I have to work after that, but I wanted to take the opportunity to record before being too tired and in the dark. I just did pull out all of the cotton I like that I have left to see what I can make with. Anyway. So this is gonna be perfect for cooler nights during the springtime. I think it's gonna be too warm for full summer. But spring and cooler nights during spring and during fall or autumn, I think it would be perfect for the winter time. I will also see, as it's going to be more of a winter sweater, how far I want of the making a turtleneck. Turtleneck I really love, and I usually have higher long sleeve warmer t-shirts that I wear under my sweaters, and to see how it goes with that, and if I want to wear it with a shirt underneath, with the color of a shirt underneath. So I will see that once I get to the neck opening, and then I will see how long I go for the sleeves once I know, when I have only 2 balls left and I've knit half of another ball on the sleeve, how far it goes. I'm almost certain I have enough to make long sleeves, but we'll see. We'll see, my friends. We'll see. And what I haven't said is that I really love this cable motif. It's just perfect. I particularly love this medium cable. I like the middle one very much. I like the side medium cable a lot, and I don't think I will block the hell out of this sweater. I may just wash it and just let it dry flat, because I don't want to lose the definition of the cables. It's just perfection. Okay, next, Bear Mountain by Miriam Nodecker. It was my Christmas cast on. No, it was my New Year's cast on, excuse me. And that I knit with La Bien-Aimé's one of a kind merino sock colorway that I got when I went to Paris just before Christmas. And I'm trying not to lose any stitches because here is in a very, so that's my second sock. Not an easy position or an easy state to show. I just turned the heel and I'm doing the gusset decreases. So as you see, I'm using DPNs. I'm using the square DPNs. The name escapes me. I will write it down. I never recall it. I always have to look for it. So I'm knitting on the gusset decreases. I'm still very much in love with that little stitch motif that look like little butterflies or something like that. I love wrapped stitches, and I did realize that on the first one I did not do it on purpose, and I think it might be a magic number for me. I did the same number of repeats up to the moment I had to do the heel flap than on the toe, on the foot up to the toe decreases. So if I like that length for my socks so that I can wear them with my higher boots, I may use that as a magic number to make further socks have the same number of rows from the top to the beginning of the heel flap than from the beginning of the decreases for the gusset up to the moment that you are doing just your regular toe. And in that pattern, the toe is just plain stockinette. I could have continued with the motif on the toe, but I did not. I'm not sure what, I think that's what the pattern recommends. Anyway, I always get I need to write what I'm doing and count my stitches, because for the previous sock I did go at least 2 decreases too much for the for the gusset, so I need to count my stitches and see that. But when I manage to sit down and knit on the sock, I try to do a full motif. That's a bit encouraging. Once I've done the motif, it's a 6-row repeat. But anyway, this is the one I take with me. This is the one I take in my bag whenever I want to go someplace. Not last weekend, but the weekend before. We were supposed to have, and I say we were supposed to have a cafe, knitting cafe in the afternoon, the Sunday afternoon, as I go now. It's about twice a month, and maybe sometimes it's only once. But the carnival was in the area. It would have been impossible for me to park unless it was very far away. I did not want to have any trouble with that. So we did meet at a friend's house and for knitting, and I knit on the Sauvabelin. So because I was just talking with her and another person, but I've had to rip out on the motif quite a bit sometimes, because you need to pay attention to what you're doing, and it's not an easy knit, and Sauvabelin is not either. It's easier to be talking because you are cabling only 1 row out of 2, when for the 6-row motif on Bear Mountain socks pattern, there is only 2 rows that you don't need to pay much attention, just to knit the stitches as they are presenting themselves. But it's easier to get confused. So what I need is find another project that is a total mindless project. Once I have finished Bear Mountains, I want to finish that sock before I take on another sock, and there is one I want to make that has still a bit of color work at the beginning and at the toe, so that might just be the next one I'm going to be casting on. Okay, next, Gilliatt Appreciation moment. I am in love with that yarn for several reasons. Not just because out of the 5 balls that my son gave me for Christmas, I could make a full sweater, colorwork sweater, a hat, arm warmers, and a bandana. So 4 pieces. I was thinking, I'm not seeing the end of this yarn and I will never be able to finish what I have. So not because of that, but because it is so plump, so easy to knit with. I love the heathered colors I just said just before for Sauvabelin and the rare Swiss wool. I love when a yarn is not completely uniform. And here is what is left of 1 ball of bouleau, which is birch, and you can see the color is not uniform because they are using dark and light fleeces to make it. So Gilliatt, as I guess most of the Rerum Natura's yarn, are processed in Europe from fleeces from Europe. So I think the washing can take place either in Italy or Belgium, and all the rest of the process takes place in mills in France. So for making the yarn itself to dyeing and everything. And you see, when they dye on a non-uniform yarn, you can also see a bit of not uniform colors with bit of whitish or more clear parts, and I love that. So Gilliatt or Gilliatt is what they say semi-woolen spun. It's plied, it's a 3-ply. So I guess that's why they say semi-woolen, woolen spun. Yeah, so you see it's a 3-ply, and as it's a woolen spun, or at least it's woolen spun then plied, I'm not sure what semi or half woolen spun means, but anyway, it's very airy, and as it is very airy, it is very light, and 100 grams is 250 meters. And from what there was on the Dazzler indications, I was thinking maybe I will need 4 balls of the blue. So I did get one, or I asked an additional one from my son. So this is Dazzler by Lisa Lewis, and you see I've made the whole sweater with just a tad over 3 balls of the blue, of course, of the blue, and just a bit under or just a bit over 2 balls of the blue of the gray. Let's let's appreciate once again how Dazzler is beautiful. Anyway, so when I finished Dazzler and I still had almost 2 balls, I think I used maybe less than a meter to cast off. I was thinking, I'm very impressed with how far that yarn went. It's light, it's warm, it goes a long way, it's heathered, it checks all of my boxes. So I said, okay, I'm going to make a little beret, a little hat to go with it, and you've already seen it. I made Ushujin, I will write the name on the screen, by Kayomi Bergin, that I have the pattern in one of the Dharma collection books. And then you can wear it that way with the brim and then very slouchy beret, or you can put the brim inside and wear it as a more traditional beret. And from the start, since I had the book, I really loved the tiny ball, the tiny pom-pom that is on top of the beret. And you may recall I've already knit a tiny pom-pom hat that I love. So anyway, with the same kind of idea. It was a pom-pom that you make, but the same kind of idea. And I love these very tiny pom-poms. Anyway, so I made the beret, and when I started to knit the beret, I was thinking I was going to use almost all of what is left of tempête, and not at all. Not at all. I used 0.50, I used 150 meters, so that's a bit over half a skein, 0.63% of a skein. And I was very surprised because I almost was certain I would use a ball or over a ball, and I did use just a bit over, 70% of a ball. So I had the beret to go with my dazzler. So I said, okay, what am I doing with the remaining of that? The sleeves are a bit short on dazzler. They were the right length when I finished it. I did pull a bit on it when I blocked it, and they retracted a bit. So maybe it's the color work that did retract a bit. Anyway, I don't know. I don't want to do anything about it. So I did make what I called my cozy arm warmers with what I thought was going to be the end of the yarn. And to make these two arm warmers that go up to my elbow, both of my elbows, I used 57 grams. So once again, I was left with a bit over, almost a ball, a bit over a ball. Yeah, I was left with almost a ball after having knit all of that. So I was thinking, as I said when I talked about the sherbet bandana, let me go all the way through the blue and then I will finish with the white. So yes, I was left with a bit under a skein because I did use 0.8 skein for the bandana. So you see, a colorwork sweater, and of course colorwork takes a bit less than plain stockinette, but you still have the string in the back, so it does not take that much less than stockinette. Maybe there is someone who's already discussed that somewhere, I don't know. So a colorwork sweater, that is my size, a hat, and not a small one, not just a tip of the head hat, 2 arm warmers, and a bandana, or almost all of a bandana. I just had that one bottom piece to knit with a boulot. I am extremely impressed about how far away this yarn goes, how plump it is. It does show color work very well. I am sure that you can knit also cables. You can knit cables with it. You see the stitch definition is just perfect to me. And yes, I am very impressed with it. So I'm not going to buy any because I have quite enough left of the boulot. I'm going to check how much I have left of the boulot. I have, after the bandana, I have almost 2,000 meters. I had 10 balls. I have almost 2,000 meters in my stash, so I'm not sure. I have to check. It's like 9 balls, the equivalent of 9 balls or something like that. 100 grams, is that? Yeah. So it's maybe 9 balls or something like that. So I did buy enough for what I thought was initially a sweater, then a cardigan, then I don't know what I'm going to be doing with it, to color work. So I want to knit most probably a garment, a sweater or cardigan or something like that. It's too thick for me for a shawl, in my opinion. And so I need to find a pattern, and there are several I want to be making with that. And I cannot wait to be knitting with what is left of the bouleau, because it's such a pleasant yarn to be knitting with. It is, I was so surprised how long it went and how many pieces I did for myself. And I love the touch of the yarn. It's extremely soft. I think it's skin soft, but as it's a heavier yarn, you won't wear a heavier sweater just next to skin, because it's going to be the winter time. So you will have something under, but it's skin soft. Skin soft to be wearing, as a bandana or close to your neck, close to your arms. When I showed the arm warmers to some of my friends, they said, when they saw the arm warmers, they were, that's a good idea, that's a good idea. Yes, it's a very, very good idea to be finishing some of your leftovers and make matching arm warmers to a sweater. And I am so impressed with Gilliatt that I wanted to make, a little appreciation moment in one of my videos. Okay, there you have it, my friends. There you have it. My little progress on my little projects, and maybe a yarn recommendation that some of you can, go check Gilliatt in one of your local yarn shop if you happen to be able to do so, and if you happen to be living near someone who's stocking, Gilliatt. But anyway, I do love that yarn, and I was very surprised how much I would love it even after having knit with Ulysse. Ulysse I like a lot, like I like other yarn. Gilliatt is a bit over that for all of the reasons I've been stating. So yeah, maybe a little time spending with me on positive things, because the way the world is, the way the world goes, every day I think we've seen it all, and no. There are, still many more layers we can dig into, and I'm not very happy with that. Fortunately, while crafting, I don't want to just talk about knitting. Many of you are also crocheting, sewing, painting, whatever. When we are crafting, when we are making things that we like with our hands, it is one way to soothe our souls, our minds, and to be connected to a very positive crowd, to a very positive community with people who think alike in a positive way. And if we are not careful to do that every day, and maybe take that time when we are crafting to think about positive things and infuse our craft with positive thoughts, it's not gonna come all by itself to us, in particular when we are bombarded with sad news. I am distancing myself from the news just because of that, but in another way I'm trying to still stay on top of what is going, because I don't want to bury my head in the sand, not at all. But we need some kind of buffer between the outside world and our inner self, and crafting is that buffer. Being in the community, in a nice community and a friendly community, can take that role as a buffer. And we do have to work every day on it, because it's not coming all by itself. And if we do not work on it, it won't be in our lives, and we will let all of the rampant and all of the fears and all of the anxiety and all of the stress build up, and that's not going to change the world. We're not, we can do things to try to be changing the world, but also we need to do things to soothe our mind and soothe our souls. So yes, I thank you a lot for being here with me, for allowing me to be part of your community, of your little 1 hour in your life, and maybe a little bit more if you think about, infusing your little stitches or whatever you're crafting on with positive thinking. And yes, I thank you a lot for being here with me, and I will see you next time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Top, pink, and sunspots, because I did knit it in, I did use 0.79 skeins or 216 grams. Is that correct? No. Together I haven't had, it's not next to me, it's with my coat. I was wearing my, what's your name? Thank you, Revelry. Where are you? You are here, of course. And I usually say one easy and one peaceful and easy, knit, and then knit the neck, and do some kind of when for the 6 motif, the 6 row motifs on Bear Paw, not, let me just unravel that.